Okay, now let's talk about Elastic Network Interfaces, or ENI. So if you hear me say ENI, I mean Elastic Network Interfaces. They're a logical component in a VPC, and they represent a virtual network card. So they're what gives EC2 instances access to the network, but they're used outside of EC2 instances as well, as we'll see later on in this course. So for example, we have an availability zone, and we have one EC2 instance, and to it is attached on F0 your primary ENI, and this will provide your EC2 instance network connectivity and, for example, a private IP. So each ENI can have the following attributes. Number one, it can have a primary private IPv4 and one or more secondary IPv4, okay? So in this example, I have one F0, but you are more than welcome to add a secondary ENI to your EC2, and that would be F1, and this will give you another private IPv4 as well, okay? Each ENI can also have an elastic IPv4 per private IPv4 or one public IPv4, so it gives you a private and a public IP, as we'll see in the hands-on. You can have one or more security groups attached to your ENI. You can have a MAC address attached to it and other things, but I've just let it give you the most important bits right now in this lecture. And you can create ENIs independently from your EC2 instances and attach them on the fly or move them from EC2 instances for failover. So let's have a look at what it looks like. And by the way, they're bound to a specific availability zone, or AZ. So that means that if you create an ENI in a specific AZ, you can only have it bound to that specific AZ. So here's another EC2 instance, and it has another ENI attached to it. And for example, what we can do is that we can move F1 from the first EC2 instance into the second EC2 instance to move that private IP. And what it means is that that private IP will change from the first EC2 instance and will be attached to the second EC2 instance. And it's very, very helpful for failovers. For example, if your EC2 instance is accessed by a private static IP, then you can move that IP around between EC2 instances for failover purposes, okay? So let's have a look in the hands-on to see what it looks like.